Logan Paul was a shithead, Logan Paul is a shithead, and Logan Paul always will be a shithead outside of some freaking miracle. This came to mind because of Coffeezilla's recent series about Logan Paul. I'm going to use two abandoned video ideas I had for Glass Onion. I realized they actually connected back to something that really bothered me with Logan Paul about 2 months ago, but we will get there. Let's start with the first abandoned video idea, and that was going to be called The Dangers of Living in an Echo Chamber. So let's talk about Birdie Jay, all the fucked up shit, and the echo chamber she's living in, surrounded by yes men, yes women, and how that relates back to Logan Paul. This is the scene where Peg is talking to her about not giving her phone back because she's afraid that she will tweet another ethnic slur. We can clearly see that the people in the background have some shit to say. They want to back up Peg. They know her whole bullshit defense of using a Jewish slur is bullshit, but they don't say anything.
I didn't even know that word referred to Jewish people.
That's small issue number 1, but everyone's doing that. Now, after she gets called out by Peg and looks for help, she doesn't get it from these two, which is great, but
everything is so woke these days, it's out of control.
Yes.
Love you. Yes. And I say it like I see it.
she gets validation, even though everyone should be backing up Peg and saying, no, this isn't right. Someone validates her opinions. And look at this. Of course he wants to validate her opinions. He's got all this bling. I'm just guessing that Birdie Jay gave it to him, gave him this nice suit, gave him this nice comfy chair. Dude, you're going to be dead in a decade. You might as well tell her how fucked up her shit is. I mean, you're there during the pandemic, you dumbass. Never mind, I don't trust him. Further, all her friends do is reinforce her dumb ideas.
Some people think Birdie's disruptive every time she opens it.
By the way, it was in editing this that I stopped focusing on her thirst for Benoit and saw his reaction. And oh my gosh, I feel so bad for the guy. He has absolutely no interest in this woman. He's just miserable having her drape herself all over him. Anyway, like I was saying.
Some people think Birdie's disruptive every time she opens her mouth. I mean, just because she says what everyone's thinking, but no one's got the nerve to say.
And no one has the nerve to correct them either.
It's true. I say it like I see it. I believed.
And all that coddling and all the yes manning, yes womaning, and not pushing back. I mean, we can guess where I'm going with this. That's how you end up with something stupid like this. And look at this. Peg, the person who could most get in Birdie's ear, gets so excited that Helen's going to actually chew her out and do what Peg never had the strength or courage to do.
I believed it.
I thought it was
I mean, the most pushback we even see in the movie directly is this.
I thought it was a generic term for cheap.
Jewy. My resume.
And we can assume based on this resume.
My resume is just Birdie Jay, a short stint in retail, and then Birdie Jay.
Was her biggest protest against Birdie Jay's idiocy and controversial bullshit. But crawling back and not taking a stand, not trying to challenge her to go to therapy, not trying to challenge her to be a better person, not trying to challenge her to actually face her flaws, you're not going to change her ever. This is just a vicious cycle for Peg. I mean, hell, even this would have been the easiest thing to do. Just slap a regular mask on her. Peg's there the entire time, but of course, because she doesn't push back, we get this bullshit mask. And that's sad because truthfully, the only thing she did teach her is this.
We will do what we always do. Deny, half apologize, and then go silent a while. I will handle this.
And that's why at the drop of a big orange hat, Birdie is ready to defend her every controversy.
Then there was the whole thing with the Halloween costume.
Oh.
It was a tribute to Beyonce, but people did not take it that way.
She went on Oprah and compared herself to Harriet Tubman.
In spirit.
She famously wore what became known as the Wren Diamond, and that's a family heirloom, I believe.
To be clear, I mean, I didn't know what a blood diamond was.
She's so used to defending her controversy, she even does it when not being attacked for her bullshit. Now, all those examples of Birdie learning how to spin things or try to diffuse the accusations or deflect them, that's a soft segue into the other abandoned video idea, which was why politics is always performative about Claire. Apologies that this first clip is choppy. That's just how the rip handled. But we can see from her first introduction that she doesn't even match her own politics. In fact, here with a driver, by the way, I am a driver. I've been a driver. Someone who sees 100 people a day. Yeah, that's not the person you want to start fucking around with your mask around. That is a prime candidate to have COVID and give it to you, but she's eating something or has something in her mouth, playing fast and loose with the mask. And of course, when Benoit Blanc recognizes her and refers to her by her official title,
Governor,
up,
Dr. Tucson.
back to the performative nature. Even friends, even this. Oh, I love you. We're best friends. I'm so happy to. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I wish you would die. Oh, back to the smile. It's all bullshit. She doesn't even like the image that she's putting out.
You know, soccer mom in beige throwing grenades into machine politics.
I'm adding this because I'm convinced that her marriage is even performative because people want to see a politician who's married and maybe who even has kids. I didn't add this because I don't know if it's just because of the lockdown crazies, but the only thing she even says about her kids in the entire movie is at the beginning of the interview when she's saying everyone is losing their minds, but that could just be the regular lockdown crazes. Anyway, I don't believe this is a real marriage. She only shows her husband distaste in multiple ways. Here are two examples.
Saying this in any context, but I'm with Duke.
And this is just my own headcanon, but does anyone else think that if Claire was actually being honest with herself, she might not be with her husband, but be with somebody else she might have wanted to ask out? Some handsome gentleman she's known for a while. I mean, when all the destruction is happening, they both check in.
Yeah.
And decide to join in together. And after the destruction, this is the part that made me convinced of it. I'm just throwing that out there. I want to hear other people's theories. I think she wanted to ask him out. If she had the courage to just, leave the loveless marriage, maybe before she had kids. I mean, even with Duke's death, it takes her about, 30 seconds to think about how things are going to get spun.
Governor jets off to Greece in a pandemic with a men's rights YouTuber who dies.
But that all brings us to the thing 2 months ago that really got under my skin. It was this video, huge Logan Paul accusations against Bad Bunny, his response to my Puerto Rico coverage and more news. Basically, TLDR, Logan Paul was getting, and Jake Paul were getting called out by Bad Bunny for going to Puerto Rico, taking advantage of a foreigner tax credit to save a lot of money and not giving enough back to the community. And there are a few quotes from here I just want to highlight.
I guess the question is going to be like, what are you saving versus what are you giving? It's all legal, right? So like what you're doing isn't like, it's something that was put into place to bring in people like yourself, but like people gotta say, okay, well, what have you saved in taxes versus what are you doing locally? Because when you build a over $10 million house and more people are flocking, while this is the situation and is the case, it's potentially pricing out locals. So I guess what would you say to what you're saving versus what you're giving? Like that critique.
Sure. So help me understand. I completely get that critique, and help me understand what the level is of how. Let's talk about quantity. What is the level of help that I need to give where it is sufficient to match the opportunity, the tax opportunity I've been given here? I don't know the answer. That feels like, I honestly, I can't say.
If the shoe was on the other foot, right? You're living there. All of a sudden, these people come in, they're taking advantage. What would you say you think that the fair share would be of the give and take?
Phil, this is a really hard question to answer because with the give, what's the metric that you'd want to use here? Is it hours of my time, boots on the ground, helping in situations like Maria? Is it the money that I'm making? Is it my ideation and ways to make sure that the government is doing the right things? Do you want me to lobby? Like, again, it's a bit harder of a question to answer.
I think most people would just kind of make it dollars, right? The situation is what it is there. Y'all are there. They are there. What do you, I mean, I don't know. I'd love for you to have the conversation, and then what would you love to see happen from here?
I would love to get external opinions. I would love for people to watch this video and comment, because I'll read all of them, and comment what they think is the balance, right? Is it the entire money that I'm saving in taxes you want me to put back into the economy? Is it half? Is it a fraction? I don't know what it is. And again, like I know, I understand you're prompting me for, you know, an identifiable metric, an answer, but I just don't have it for you, Phil. I don't know.
Does that sound familiar? Does that ring any bells, considering that I'm using Glass Onion to talk about this? Does that remind you of maybe...
Nothing about any of this is fair. Congratulations, now you know. What do you want?
What Claire's trying to say is we're sorry. We feel bad for you. What do you want?
Are you really asking me that? Yes. What do you want? A check? You want performative pity? Just tell us the right words that we can use so that we can get on with our lives.
That is what that felt like 2 months ago when I watched that interview. It felt like he was asking, what amount of performative charity do I need to give so that I can get on with my life and not have to deal with this controversy? And by the way, that's before we all publicly knew how full of shit he was and how much of a fucking thief he was. He makes millions off these fucking crypto scams, and he's asking, oh, please give me a metric of what I can give so that I don't have to deal with this controversy anymore. Fuck you, Logan Paul. Fuck you. You serious? He wasn't asking so that he could give you the number. He was asking so that he could reach into your heart and soul and see what honest answer you had. And all you had was give me a number so that I can please people and they'll be not angry at me anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. Logan Paul is a fucking piece of shit. I'm so goddamn sick of him getting richer and richer off bullshit and then not actually doing anything with it. You think if people unanimously told him 100% of your tax credit, he would actually do it? Or if he wouldn't move away and find somewhere else? I'm so fucking tired of rich people not going with morals first and going numbers. You know what? I wasn't going to include this, but even here, let me get it. I wasn't going to include this originally because, you know, I don't know that he's a bad person. I haven't seen anything Logan Paul-esque. But even in this video with Graham Stephan, who I'm a fan of, he's 2 years ago, right? Let me fact check that. Yep. 2 years ago, why I'm leaving California, he talks about his reasons. First, tax credit. Second, homelessness. He talks about how California should be able to do more considering its size, considering its GDP. And he gives other reasons, cost of living, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? Never once did I hear him talk about. He didn't, for 1 second, express any curiosity about taking these tax credits. Oh, I'm not even zoomed in very well. You can't. This is the tax section. He didn't for 1 second maybe consider taking half the taxes that he's saving, half the money he's saving on taxes, and make a nonprofit in California so that he can help try to address this. Yes, the state of California should be able to do more. But if you're moving 6 hours away or however long it is to Los Angeles and you're saving millions of dollars just by living over there, and you're saying this is a real issue that you care about, that you have a heart for, and that you're seeing these issues of people with mental health and who are disabled being forced out in the street, and you never once think to connect, I could do something. That's just depressing to me. I don't want to bring Graham Stephan into this. I don't think he's Logan Paul. I'm not going to say fuck Graham Stephan, but like, I'm just tired of people who have so much power not thinking of how to do good on their own. He talks about in here, everyone should check it out and not just trust my word for it, but he talks about his accomplishments as like walking around after Hurricane Fiona and giving out some sandwiches and water, and then having donated hundreds of thousands of dollars, and finding a fighter who was making $10,000 a month and a fight, and now she's making millions. Like, cool. That's cool. But you make millions of dollars. The Coffeezilla one showed how fucking rich you are. And you're talking about what in Logan Paul's, world is pennies as the good deed. And then instead of coming up with your own ideas, he literally says, 3 different points at least that I've showed? Like, please just tell me what to do. Please just tell me what you want. What do you want? So that I can move on with my life. Fuck Logan Paul. I'm so sick of him. I wish people would stop trusting him. Ludwig talked about how he was sad because he was really excited by Logan's comeback journey and thought he had actually grown as a person. I thought, I didn't prepare it, but like there was one part where Jake Paul was going in all the Black Lives Matter riots and like filming it, and on his podcast he said, I love my brother, I don't always like him. I thought that was an indication that he had matured, but apparently not. Apparently he's the same fucking piece of shit who just will steal money from people who trust him and fucking just perform everything. I'm so sick of him. This is my last Glass Onion video, besides a video that's going to come out after this that's really just addressing a conversation that keeps happening in the Miles Brown video. Like 20 or 30 people have brought it up, and I just saw that as a failure of my own explanation in the video. So I just wanted to address it in a video so I could start linking more people. There's already like 2 or 3 people I need to send the link to, because it's just a deep conversation that takes a lot of time and effort, and just it wasn't even a conversation that needed to happen in the first place. But other than that, thank you. I've got that and 3 other videos planned out. Please come over to the Discord. There's giveaways every month as far as the plan is now, and you don't need to be a patron to win the giveaways. They're free entries, but there's a free round for everybody, but I guess it helps. That wasn't to get you onto the Patreon, but yeah, fuck Logan Paul. I'm so sick of him. By the way, the miracle or whatever that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he would literally need only Helens around him to really call him on this shit and change him. Fucker.